Hi guys, welcome back to TomTalks, and we're back into the Grammy/Brit Award nominations now, and we're going to be talking about Sabrina Carpenter with Man's Best Friend. This is the 7th studio album from the former Disney star, now pop star, one of the biggest artists on the planet currently right now, after her last record, Short and Sweet, which was full of these very catchy and personality driven pop smashes that just took over 2024 and to some extent 2025 as well. Sabrina Carpenter had a great year, had some fantastic pop music, and is at the forefront of the pop scene right now. And she's come back with Man's Best Friend, which is a bit of change in pace. There is those sort of pop hits, but there's also a lot of disco influence here. There's a soft rock influence. There is a lot of country influence on this record. Maybe some of that came from her conversations with Dolly Parton, who appeared on Deluxe of Short and Sweet. This is a change of pace in terms of that. And also, while the last album was a lot more fun and positive, this album, it's a bit more down in the dumps. It's focusing on this failing relationship and how that works out, the emotions Sabrina Carpenter feels. So this album, it's a bit more of a Debbie Downer. This album is certainly getting the love. It's been nominated for Album of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Album, and Sabrina has also picked up a Brit Award nomination for International Artist as well, and Amy Allen, who has songwriting credits on a few of the tracks here, including, of course, the singles Man Child and Tears, has been nominated for Songwriter of the Year, non-classical. And also it sees Sabrina team up with John Ryan again, who worked on the last record, but also Jack Antonoff, who, of course, has produced a lot of Taylor Swift's more recent material, has worked with Lana Del Rey on some of her best material. So going into this record and having heard the singles, I thought I wasn't going to enjoy this as much as the prior record. Having gone back to this record a few times now, I'd say this is a pretty decent record. It does what it sets out to do, and the things I like about Sabrina Carpenter do kind of shine through here. But there are still some issues with this record that stop it from really being one of the great pop records. Kick off with the first track, Man Child, which has got its fair share of love. It's been nominated for Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Pop Solo Performance, and Best Music Video at the Grammys, and International Song at the Brits as well. And you can see why. I have been giving this track a lot of plays of late. It's a really fun blend of country and pop music. The keyboard melody is really catchy and sticks in your head. The bum 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 bum. It does what it's supposed to do. The guitar and banjo playing on this track is great as well. I think the chorus vocals are really good. They really emphasise the sort of feelings of this track, which is basically calling out this person who's toxic or emotionally immature and calling them a man child, as the song suggests. And it's Sabrina Carpenter's usual sort of silly, kooky but sassy songwriting style, which will get a chuckle out of you, will get a few laughs out of you. There are plenty of moments on this record where I had a little laugh to myself because of just the silliness but funness of said lyrics. Man Child's just a very good pop song, and it's definitely one of the best pop songs of the last year. And I think Sabrina did a really good job here on starting the record and sort of selling the feeling that the record would have. Here's then follows this up, which was the second single. This is a bit different. This is a bit more of like a disco influence. The keyboard melody at the start reminded me a little bit of Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia era, I've got to say. It is sort of going back to the 80s influence on tracks here. There are plenty more tracks on this record that do have that influence. But the beat is fun, it's poppy, it's catchy. It does feel like it's missing something a little bit to sort of make it stand out a bit more per se, but it still works. Sort of fun lyrics here, which is all about, if you do these things for me, I'll be happy and want to do stuff with you. The assembling IKEA furniture or respecting women will make me like you. It's again that usual sort of fun lyricism you expect. I guess with me, this is an enjoyable song, but again, I've already mentioned the beat, but I also feel like it's a little bit short. It feels like maybe there could have been a little bit more to it just to push it forward. I know, of course, Sabrina likes the references to shortness. Her last album was called Short and Sweet, but maybe this one could have been a little bit longer. Just saying. My Man on Willpower, which for me is probably one of the weaker moments on the record. It's this ballady beat and country-like delivery. She's kind of saying that this person keeps saying that they love her, but they don't give her enough time. Vocally, she sounds decent here, but it doesn't quite hit the highs of some others. And there is other things like the nice synths here, but it's one of these tracks that sort of plods along and is probably fine without paying too much attention to. But when you look back on this track, you kind of go, okay, there's things here that could have been done a little bit better. It's one of the weaker tracks on the record. Sugar Talking is a bit more of a soft rock moment. I really love the melody from the guitar and the synths. It's quite smooth and tranquil. It really works against Sabrina's more relaxed delivery here, as she wants this person to see her, and she says that he says he wants her, but it's not quite coming through. It's clearly a relationship of distance and people not being on the same page, and she really does give a bit more of an emotional delivery here, which I think works for the more ballady nature of points of this track, because she's kind of expressing what she wants. She's not in a good place about it and is just being straight to the point. The electric guitar solo as well, that really does hit the spot here. And there are similarities with the last track, but I think just the more enjoyable and euphoric and catchy production, I think the delivery sells it a lot more here. And I think it just goes to show that you can make similar songs on a record, but sometimes there are certain things that have to stand out. And Sugar Talking stands out, whereas My Man on Willpower doesn't. We then move on to We Almost Broke Up Again. It's a ballad that kind of concludes the first part of the record in a way. Sabrina is realising that things aren't going to plan here, but she's still trying to push through it, even though things do look doomed per se. Again, this is one of the weaker tracks for me because instrumentally it's not particularly doing anything different. I think her delivery doesn't come across as impactful here. She sings well, but I don't know, it feels a bit of something missing in the sort of performance. Guitar solo sounds slightly blown out, like it doesn't sound particularly great here. It's probably the track I don't like the least. I think Sabrina lyrically is doing what you'd expect and is fine, but it feels like this track could have had a bit more panache to it, a bit more of an oomph that would have just took it to that next level. Nobody's Son, which is this country pop track, it's critiquing the mother, saying he's messed me up, he's not been a good partner, and saying it's your fault. It's again, it's playing into the humour element here, but there's still that sort of emotional, passionate delivery because this is a true feeling. Guitar playing is nice here. The imps as well are really good. Vocals at the start sort of pitched quieter a bit, which emphasises the words she's saying to show that she truly does mean what she's saying and the emotion she's feeling in this track. Really like the way the drum beat is mixed in with the more passionate delivery and on the chorus, which is very catchy. It's probably why this track is currently doing quite well. I mean, all the tracks from this record I think have done well to varying degrees. I think most of them have charted in the UK, but this song seems to be getting a bit of attention now, and deservedly so. Basically messing her about, saying he wants a break and she's upset and she feels alone. She tells it says that her friends are calling her for a third wheel, which is a funny line, and I know the feeling. Probably not to the same extent as Sabrina Carpenter, though. I think she's probably doing a bit better in her love life than I am, but we're not here to talk about that. Ever Getting Laid, which again is that quirky humour, a bit more of a synth disco pop vibe. I like the really blary synths here. They really give the track atmosphere and a bit of panache again. This sort of works well against the beat. It's quite calm, but it's a commanding presence. Basically like, I still love you, but I hope that you never get laid again. That sort of cheeky and fun and funny nature that sort of sells a lot of Sabrina Carpenter's work and makes it stand out from like your traditional pop stuff here. The end, it sort of focuses on her and she gives this sort of sadder direct delivery to him. And yeah, it sells the track. It's a fun, enjoyable moment that sort of sells where Sabrina is at this point in the record. When Did You Get Hot? It's that humorous sort of, oh, you used to be ugly, but now you're attractive. Like, we all know the line. It's goofy, it's silly, it's kind of a bit odd, to be honest, but it plays into what makes this track enjoyable, which is the fun and vibrant performance, the upbeat soft rock pop sort of instrumental. It's one of those beats that's just very finger clicking. It will get you grooving, I'm sure. And the synths here, they sound like an old video game. I'm getting a Sega feeling. I'm not quite sure what game, but just you hear the synths during the track, you'll know what I mean. And there's also some very nice background harmonies as well. To be fair, when Sabrina is harmonising on the record, she does sound very good. This track is one of those moments. This is just a fun little joint that's Sabrina trying to move on and having a bit of playfulness and a bit of fun with the track. Go Go Juice kind of continues down that vibe, although this is more of a guitar-backed ballad here about just, you know, having a few drinks and going for some fun. Silly bit at the end where she's like da-dee-da, and it feels like, you know, the end of a night in a bar where people are just like dancing and just having a blast, and they're on another planet because of how much they've had to drink here. And the sort of more country delivery, which we see on some tracks, works here. It fits in with the sort of playfulness and the sort of themes of this track. Oh, and also the banjo solo here. Very nice, very good. And this is another fun moment from the record. Don't Worry, I'll Make You Worry is this very sad ballad, which is matched by the emotional delivery here. It's quite warbly. You can see that Sabrina's not feeling good at the moment. I'm not sure whether this track is about someone else she's met, or she's maybe slightly reconciled with the person she was with before. She mentions like their mother seeing her emotional instability here. The banjo playing's quite warbly as well, and there's these very breathy vocals, like this is all getting a bit much and she's really started to struggle. It's a good moment on the record. I think it sort of emphasises that she's trying to move on, but she can't really, and this person is sort of in and out of her life still, and it's people around, even those related to this person, could see this is getting her down, but it works as like a ballad and as a moment of sort of clarity in the record, I guess. Penultimate track is House Tour, which is this really fun disco song, plenty of 80s influence. There's a real upbeat nature to it. She's been on a date and she's offering to show someone around the house and probably some other things. She says it's not a metaphor, but the track is kind of full of metaphors about sex. So, and it plays into those characteristics of Sabrina Carpenter's music, which I've emphasised throughout this review, that I really enjoy. The synths really push the beat forward here. The guitar part is also quite catchy. It's just a very fun pop song that's playing into, it's similar to When Did You Get So Hot. They're both sort of kind of interludes to the overall story, but still fit in there, and they're both good at what they do, which is making an enjoyable, catchy pop song. And then we conclude with Goodbye, which, as it says on the tin, it's a piano ballad. The person is no longer interested in her. I'm not sure whether it's the person from the track before or whether it's the partner from the start of the record, but she gives this very emotional delivery of, that's it, it's done now. You know, she makes all these like bilingual puns here, like cheerio, like, you know, the stereotypical American sort of way of looking at how British people see it. If she said goodbye, Bab, I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. But no, it's still funny though. She's standing her ground. She's sort of come to a conclusion here. Also, the piano and horns are a nice little change of pace here, and it's a decent way to end the record. I do like this track, and I think it's one of the better ballads on the record, because sometimes, as I previously stated, the ballads don't quite show off the best of Sabrina Carpenter. But I think this is a good conclusion to the record, and a good conclusion to the story of the record, because I think it's been an interesting story to follow. You see the growth of the person, you see them go through stuff, and it's delivered in Sabrina Carpenter's like very cheeky humour way, but she still pulls off, for the most part, the sort of emotions and the upset and the sort of defiance that she has to go through and feels throughout the record. But that's Man's Best Friend. I enjoyed this record overall, I've got to say. I think the blending of genres works well. I think Sabrina Carpenter's humour from her previous album still works very well. She still knows how to craft a good pop song. I think the ballads are kind of a bit of a mismatch. There's some of them that do what they do, and some of them that don't quite stick the landing. And I think sometimes maybe the production could do with a little bit of change here and there. There's sometimes where the production doesn't really push the boat out too much. But it's a good album, I've got to say. I enjoyed this record. I think the songwriting's good. I think the production is predominantly good. I think it flows very well. The timing in terms of the length, I think, works well. Doesn't feel too long, doesn't feel too short, outside of maybe Tears, which I spoke about earlier. Good album, solid stuff. Overall, I'm feeling somewhere between a 7 and a 7.5 on this. I think I maybe enjoyed the last album a little bit more, but I still think this is a good record. I think Sabrina Carpenter showing once again that she stands out in the world of pop and knows how to make catchy hits. But that's my thoughts on Man's Best Friend. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is a good record? Do you think it's a drop down? Do you think it manages to maintain the enjoyment of the last record? Do you think it works thematically? You can say your thoughts on the cover in the comments. I think, considering what she's talking about in the record, it sort of makes sense, but you can say what you want. But until next time, folks, this has been another TomTalks.